These are 3 things I wish I knew when I started playing Rocket League. If someone had just told me these things, I would have gotten better so much faster and probably would have saved a lot of time trying to figure them out myself. I started playing the game 10 years ago when it first came out, and I now have over 11,000 hours of game time, and I'm a professional RLCS coach.
That just feels like something that
What the fuck?
I recommend you watch the entire video till the end, because I'll also tell you how you can potentially avoid wasting hundreds or even thousands of hours practicing the wrong things that might actually be hurting your improvement. But let's get straight into the video with number 1. The ball is not that important. Wayne Gretzky, one of the most successful hockey players of all time, said that good players are playing where the puck is, while great players are playing where the puck is going to be. If I wanted to be a great player, I needed to understand earlier that awareness is the most important skill in Rocket League, and I wish I would have been practicing actually looking at the players much more to see where the play is going to be and where the next touch is actually going way sooner. It should be prioritized over most of the mechanics in the game. The skill of using your eyesight to gather information and making sure that your camera angle or your spacing isn't completely messing up your vision of the opponents is one of the fastest ways to improve in the game. Because everyone is so focused on the ball that's flying around and bouncing that we sometimes miss the changes of direction. The higher ranks are more focused on the players that are moving toward the ball at a higher speed and seeing who will get a next touch and toward where. So when you see which direction the player is challenging from, it's way easier to see where the ball is gonna go and what potential touches they can take, especially if you see how much momentum they have as well. Number 2. There is one main resource and one starting point. We're so occupied with learning all the different mechanics that this game has to offer that we forget, or at least I forgot when I was starting out, to master the fundamentals. And this isn't even about the cliches. I really mean the start of each match. Back then, I thought the fundamentals were card control and ball control only, and that the rest of the game was pretty much up to game sense. There is a terrible way to look at it nowadays, because you look at any top level sport or game and you'll see just how hard people work on actually perfecting the start of any play. Kobe Bryant said, "Why do you think I'm the best in the world? Because I never got bored of the basics." Back then I was so focused on things like rotating wide or air dribbling that I missed the only 2 things that are guaranteed to happen each game that I play. And by ignoring my kickoffs, or at least keeping them barely acceptable for the rank I was in, I was missing out on an opportunity to develop a skill that would translate into any game that I played. It's also a skill that can be used to prove to yourself that you can get really good at a mechanic that you choose in the game, because it's constantly there no matter what match you play. Not only was I ignoring practicing kickoffs actively, I was pretty much ignoring the only resource that exists in the game, which is boost, if you don't count basic momentum. It allows us to accelerate much quicker and use the air to our playing field, which is necessary to make outplays, punish the opponents, and challenge difficult plays. But specifically, I wish I spent more time focusing on what average boost that I had between games. Because it was so bad at one point that I found myself between 0 and 24 boost for most of my games, and I didn't even realize it. And I think most people don't, maybe you included. So I had to look at ballchasing.com, find a replay of myself, and check for the stats for myself to see how much do I actually spend in each range of boost. And of course see my own replay as well. Number 3. It's a sport. And regardless of if you think gaming should be considered a sport, Rocket League is a sport. It's a competition with mechanically requiring physical skill that has a few basic rules. And this means we should approach it with the same competitive spirit and fun, but not too emotionally beating ourselves up over the ranked ladder that we all seem to do. Look, there's nothing wrong with being competitive and wanting to win. The people that want to win more are usually the people that wind up getting better than the rest. But a big thing that hindered me when I was playing, and while practicing, is that I got so emotionally attached to the result of each situation and each game that I played that it was crippling me. Instead of reacting to it by wanting to play more and get better and fix the mistakes I was making, Oftentimes it led me to switching game modes or trying out casual, playing private matches, or just anything that made me not face the actual mistakes that I was making. I was just beating myself up over everything I did wrong or my teammates did wrong. If I could talk to myself starting out, I would say to continue push for constant improvement, but to compete with myself and to measure yourself in your decision making, your behavior, and your attitude, not wins and rank. Because that's what sport is about. It's about developing yourself, developing your craft. And I wouldn't leave it at just that. But to really become better, to become great, we need to strive to be uncomfortable and to get outside of our comfort zones often. If you get nervous or stressed playing a game mode like Bunnz, for example, or just ranked overall, that's a great reason in of itself to push yourself to play those game modes at least a couple times a day. Learning to be in that vulnerable state and turning your negative reactions into a positive and productive outcome is very, very important. So if you don't want to risk hundreds or even thousands of hours of playtime, I recommend you book a free call with me either through my Metafy or through my website, so we can figure out what weaknesses might be holding you back from reaching your most confident and competent self. I want to help people improve effectively from where they are, but in a way that keeps the fun of the game and the engagement. So these were 3 things that I would tell myself who was just starting out 10 years ago if I had the chance. What is something that you wish you would have told yourself when you were starting to play the game? And better yet, how can you apply it to make the rest of your playtime the best of your playtime? I'll see you later.